What's good, my lovely peoples? It's your main man, Solace here, the humble servant of the life. Today I want to do this video breaking down how life began on this planet or any planet. And basically a lot of people have this question. Where did people come from? How did humans end up on this planet? Like, how does that work? Where did the life come from? And it's a very deep but simple thing. A lot of the ancient texts that we have and the religious texts we have, they explain how life began here. But y'all don't read them together. Y'all keep them separated. And knowledge is about connecting things. See, you have to know a thing to know more things. So if somebody is writing a book explaining how to make pillows, and you have no clue what a pillow is, you would have to know what a pillow is so that when you're reading about it, you know, oh, they talking about pillows. So this is what I mean by you have to know a thing to know a thing. Now, you have to have some sort of understanding on what life is when reading any ancient text. And you have to have some sort of level of understanding of science. So this is where the confusion comes when y'all read these things. Now, in the ancient texts of the fallen angels, I actually have a picture. In the ancient texts where they write and speak about the fallen angels, you know, Azazel, Beelzebub, Kokabel, Shemyaza, it's a bunch of them. When they speak of the fallen angels falling to the earth, this is breaking down how life started on the earth. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. And it's the same thing, I forgot the ancient Kemetic text, but the one where they speak of the Neteru emerging from the abyss. All of these things go together when understanding how life started on the planet. Now, I'm going to break it down to y'all. In the fallen angel story, they say the angels fell from heaven. Now, we know the celestial bodies are what's in heaven. Now, when a celestial body, which is a star, comet, you know, the celestial body, the heavenly bodies, the things up above, when they fall down to the earth, they hold all the materials for harvesting life. Grasp that. Now, when a heavenly body falls to the earth, we call that a comet or whatever, and there's a whole bunch of life within that heavenly body. Now, you have to understand, Earth is like an incubator. Grasp that. A woman's womb is like an incubator. Earth is like an incubator also. So all you need at this point is water. So grasp. Heavenly body falls to earth, holding all the essential materials for life. Earth has the energy of an incubator already. The sun will be blocked out for a time and rain will fall. The heavenly body will have water or ice on and within it also. So now when all that material that life is made of is consumed in water, because you have to grasp, babies, zygote, embryos, the sperm cells or egg cell, this is all in water, the fluid of the body. When a baby is born, the water breaks because it is within water. So you have to grasp. When the water is covering the planet, because the heavenly body hit it, that materials for life will begin to start to harvest. Like a seed when you water it. So now you will have micro life streaming all within the waters of the planet. Grasp. And that micro life will begin to develop into more complicated life. Like how atoms come together and then you get cells, and a bunch of cells come together and then you get people. So the micro life within the water will begin to complicate and mix and mingle and get bigger, so on and so forth. And now you have a planet full of water with life all in it. So if you notice in the Bible, it says that the waters was first and then the sea life came before the land life. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Now, when the waters begin to recede, now you have the Neteru emerging from the abyss. See how I threw the Kemetic writings right in there? Because it all go together. It's a simple but deep thing, but you have to know life. So now the Neteru emerged from the waters, the divine life. Why is it divine? Because it emerged from the waters. The heavenly bodies fell to the earth. Over time, the micro life spread out, and then the Neteru, after time, emerged from the waters. Now, what is that saying? That is saying, once the micro life mingled together, and then you got more complicated and bigger life, and the waters begin to recede, grasping that when you put things in water, it takes away from the water. Grasp. It's like overcrowding. So now waters will begin to emerge. Sun shines, waters emerge, and it's also becoming overcrowded. So now if you ever seen a beach recede and the waters recede, I have a video up showing the waters receding and how all the life is left ashore. So this is what the Kemetic writings meant when it said the waters emerged in the Neteru. The waters receded and the Neteru emerged from the abyss. It is basically speaking of when the waters recede, like at a beach, and then all the crabs, seashells, mussels, horseshoe crabs, sometimes a dolphin, a mermaid, whatever, is left ashore. Then over time, these animals begin to adapt to being on shore. Animals' life. Because it's more than just animals. All the different life that is washed ashore begins to adapt to being on shore, which is land. Over time, they begin to breathe longer on land. So, of course, at first they probably die, like fish out of water. Fast. Then over time, it takes longer. They begin to adapt. It's just like people. The more a person swims, they begin to be able to hold their breath longer than they could when they first started swimming. The more time you spend in the water, the better you become in it. And this is reality right now. So you have to grasp. The longer they're out the water, the better they begin to breathe. And the longer they begin to last on the land before having to go back into the water. Then they eventually never go back to the water. Then they begin to walk upright. Whatever these creatures were in their way past that emerged from the waters, their nature were to be bipedal and stand up. And so they did. Turtles came from the sea. Their nature wasn't to stand bipedal, so they didn't. So whatever life was in the waters, it adapted to the land how it would be on land. And this is how you got the diverse life on land, the same way you got the diverse life in the waters. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. This is how you got men Now, the men that emerge from the waters and begin to adapt, because this is truly what evolution is. See, if I'm put into a position where I have to crouch down, my back will begin to hunch. And I will begin to slowly, over time, be able to comfortably walk on all fours. Because now my back is hunched and I can't stand up straight. And we see old people hunched back because they're knelt over a lot. Because they're weak now, so they can't hold themselves up. So over that short period of time of them being old, it made their back hunched to where it looks like an old person could probably walk on all fours more comfortably than on two. So I'm just giving you that example so you can understand how evolution works and how animals can change in their mannerism. Not animals, but living beings can change in their environment over time, but not change from what they are. So grasp that. Just change the mannerisms and the way they move over time. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Now, those first beings that we would call humans, other life from another planet, because life is harvested the same way. And yes, there's life on other planets, so you have to have a brain. Now, if other life happened to come here in the ancient past, they could have altered the life here the same way we do now. We alter the life here. So that's always a possibility. That, when I say a possibility, I'm talking about that is something that can be done. Not if that happening was a possibility, because we see how we alter the life now. So you don't have to question if people in the ancient past were altering and playing around with the life and trying to diversify it. So you don't have to question that. Of course, beings did this. And this is how you get the men that we have today. And this is where you have the confusion in all the ancient stories. Where some of them, like in the Enuma Elish, they speak of how Lord Enki and his sister basically made men from merging their DNA with the hominid life that was here. Then you have other stories that speak of, like the Bible, it speaks of the heavenly angels falling to the earth. And this is where the confusion is. You have to understand time. First things first. So you have to know what happens first. And you know first the life comes. I just explained to you how. So in the Bible, when the heavenly angels fell to the earth, this is the telling of celestial bodies like comets and different things that's in the sky falling to the earth and eventually emerging from the waters. But it speaks of the fallen angels in a scapegoat sacrificing way, because you have to grasp, to fall from above to below is like a sacrifice. Whatever celestial body fell from above and brought the life here, that celestial body was no longer up above in its glory. When a comet crashes to Earth, it is no longer up above in its glory. That comet will bring life to Earth, more life than whatever's here. So if a comet crashed billions, millions of years ago and destroyed the dinosaurs, that same comet brought life with it. So it's like Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. The creator and the destroyer. It's all the same. When something is destroyed, something new comes. So you have to grasp. When it speaks of the falling angels, it is speaking of the heavenly bodies. But you have to understand up above as below. The life is within the life. So you have to understand whatever's up above holds the same materials that make you what you are. And you hold the same materials that the earth holds, etc., etc. Everything holds the same materials. So you don't have to be lost in thinking, how can a planet or a celestial body fall to earth and bring life with it? Think of like a seed. Sperm cell is nothing more than a seed. A seed is nothing more than a seed. A potato, you put it in the dirt, more potatoes come. It's nothing more than a seed. As above, so below. Everything is the same. If you see the thing, that means it came from a seed of a sort. And all you need for seeds to harvest is womb energy, yoni energy, and water. Water for life, baby. It's all you need. So you have to grasp. It is a great sacrifice. So then when they speak of the devil and Shemyaza and all of these people, and how they brought the evils to life, well, this is just the nature of the man, the duality of a man. Living beings, the good, the bad, we all hold it. Man has knowledge, he'll either do good with it or bad with it. So it's a simple thing. We can't look down on anyone because everyone does bad. So it just is what it is. We all have the knowledge that we have of whatever we have, and we all look to cut corners with it. So it's a deep thing we have to grasp. But that's how life started on this planet, and that's how men came. And you can use the ancient texts and religious texts to grasp an understanding of that. But first, try to get a little understanding of science, so you can understand how celestial bodies hold the same materials to bring forth life. Simple. You see how the planet brings forth vegetation on its own? Every summer and spring, nobody really has to plant. It'll do it on its own. This is how. The life is the life. And it's going to bring forth whatever it brings forth. And whatever it brings forth, it's either going to destroy itself or it ain't. And if it destroys itself, something will replace it. Because the life will keep bringing forth life. So it's a simple but deep thing you have to grasp. Now, I hope that video did some kind of justice for somebody. Because I know y'all like to debate a lot, even though y'all don't know things that y'all like to debate about. So, if you was wondering how life started on this planet, now you know. If you choose to let it go in one ear out of the other, the way that life works is like this. As long as you heard truth, there's nothing you can say. You can say, man, I didn't believe when he said that, though. Whose problem is that? You heard truth. Because we like to lie to ourselves and say, man, there's so many lies out here. How am I ever going to find truth? You've heard truth. You've seen truth. You just ignore things. So that's on you. It's Shemaine Mansalas.